Oh, the importance of a headline. Pretty much the headline is the most important thing regarding your sales letter. In fact, 78% of your prospects or the people you're trying to sell to are going to determine whether or not they'll even look at the site based off the headline. Just by changing the headline can increase sales upwards to almost 1,200%, literally overnight. You only have about 3 seconds to stop someone dead in their tracks, or you just lost the sell. And you do that by having a headline. You do that by getting them, to stop, think, read, get. Have your headline make them curious, make them want to continue reading. There's a particular formula that we're going to show you a little bit later of how you need to structure and have the flow of your site and everything. But like I said, we'll get to that later. But the only two words that matter in your headline is brevity and simplicity. So what do I mean by that? Is of course you're not going to use brevity and simplicity in your headline, but those are the only two words that matter. Is because keep things brief. There's been a growing trend among people nowadays, just to have a very long headline. It's like a run-on sentence. It's almost a paragraph as your headline, and it's very complex. They try to be cute. They try use big words, or they try to use different hidden meanings and all this other kind of stuff. Well, that's the worst thing. That's the absolute worst thing that you can possibly do. Is whenever I was back selling in sales, I've done pretty much every type of sales that there is to do. The main thing that every single sales trainer has taught us is, give them enough information to get them curious, and then stop talking. Get them curious, get them some facts, give them a call to action, like, hey, so do you want to put that on your Visa or your MasterCard? And then stop talking. The first person who talks more than they have to talk loses. And you want that, you want the customer to lose. You want to get as many sales as possible. And what a lot of people do, they feel uncomfortable. They feel like they have the overstress points. They feel like they have to continue talking. And then what that does is that almost talks the person right out of it. So the only thing you need to do with your headline is to to stop them and get curiosity built, get them wanting to read more. But you don't want to have a full, complete sales message in your headline. That's what your sales page is for. Think about a newspaper. It's like they don't give you the entire story within the headline of the article, the news article. What do? They give you a little chunk that makes you want to read, that makes you curious, and makes you want to dive in there, and that's exactly what your headline should do. So keep it brief. Don't say 10 words when 3 words would be fine, and keep it simple. Don't use fancy words. If you write your copy to where where it looks like a 4th grader wrote it, everyone will understand. But if you write your copy like trying to appeal to the doctors, like with proper big words and proper etiquette and all this kind of stuff like that, then you're secluding probably 98% of the people that you're trying to sell to. So keep it brief, keep it simple, and then what you're going to want to do is be specific. Whenever you're starting to write your headlines, the more specific you can make it, the higher your conversions are always going to be, because it's the less questions that your customer raises, and the less questions that they raise automatically means the more sales you're going to make. So, don't just say, hey, this is going to boost your sales. Say, this is going to boost your sales 319%. Don't just say, hey, this is going to increase your traffic. Say it's going to increase your traffic by 479 visitors. It's a very specific number. And whenever you talk about specific numbers, don't just say, hey, this is going to boost, say boost your sales 300%. Or, test, get specifics, because people view specifics as credible. They view round numbers like 300%, 100%, quadruple. They view round numbers that really doesn't have a specific meaning as, made up. It's been proven time and time again that, hey, even if you tested it and you have an exact, hey, 300% conversion rate or 300% boost in sales, drop it. Say, hey, this is going to get you 297%. because that 297% will always outsell the 300%, or even say 267%, whatever it is. It'll always outsell the bigger, rounder number because it's more specific and a lot more credible. So when you're talking about making money, don't say, hey, this is going to make you more money fast. Say it's going to give you a specific number. Say it's going to give you, $1,462.93 in the next 5 days. See, because when you say make more money fast, the person's like, well, how much money and what's fast? Because, fast to somebody might be 30 days, but fast to somebody else might be, a couple of minutes. An hour is long to some people versus a year is long to some people. So you see how by being broad in your copy, you raise these questions. And the more questions you raise, the less sales you're going to make. So by being specific, you leave no room for questions, and you're actually telling them, you're controlling their mind at that point. Because if you're telling them specifics and you're keeping them on the flow that we're going to be showing you, you're controlling every thought in their mind. But by you just saying, hey, make more money fast, then their mind subconsciously always goes and well, how much money, how fast, is this a scam, blah, 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 blah. Versus if you just say, hey, make $1,462.93 in the next 5 days. What are they going to say? The only thing they're going to say is, how I want to read more. And then that's how you start leading and guiding people on with your copy. So just by adding specific phrases is all that you may need right now to increase your conversions. So if you already have a sales letter, or if you already have an opt-in form, go back and say, hey, is there anything in here that I can change to make it more specific? Because just adding those specifics can increase your sales. And the next point I want to touch really quick is, hey, whenever it comes down to copy, all the work is already done for you. Guesswork can be very, very, very costly and very, very, very unnecessary. Use what's already proven to convert just by adding your own twist to make it more relevant to what you're selling. And what I mean by that is, hey, there's a lot smarter people than you or I out there that spend millions and years and years and years and years testing headlines. If you look at some of the publications like Us or Vogue or I don't even know, basically the different publications out there. But if you look at them, look through week after week, look at the advertisers that are running the same ad, because some of those magazines, you're talking about upwards to $20,000 to $50,000 a week just to run a full page ad. So start picking up publications, start picking up even like the National Enquirer. I love the National Enquirer. It's a junk publication. It doesn't have a single factual thing in it. But at the same time, it sells millions and millions and millions of copies because of the headlines it writes. So start looking through magazines, start going to, go to Barnes & Noble or a bookstore and pick up some magazines and see if you can find a common thread. Start looking at the way that they write their headlines. Start looking at the way that they even lay out their site, or what are the key points? How do they position this? And then what you're going to want to also look for is the advertisement that's been in there over and over again, because that means it's proven to work. So if you're in a weight loss niche, go check out like the health magazines. If you're in a technology niche or selling software, go check out some of the the computer magazines, the technology magazine, and find out who is in here week after week. What are they saying? What's the type of ad they're running? What's the type of headline that they're doing? What kind of graphics are they using? Because they're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars to test that. Millions of dollars that you or I probably don't have. So what you do, you piggyback off them. They're doing all the market research, and then you're going to create what they call a swipe file, which means you're going to start, as soon as you see an advertisement that you like, rip it out or copy it or print it off or wherever you're at, and keep a swipe file of that particular market. What I do, I have a 3-ring binder that I actually I categorize per niche. So if I'm doing a health product, I'd be like, well, here's some advertisements that I see that work. So, you can go and you look at the way that it copied. Doesn't mean that you blatantly use it or rip off their copy. but you can change a few words and make it more relevant to your product. So what we're going to do right now, we're actually going to get into, because we're talking about headlines right now, we're going to get into 7 headline templates that have made billions of dollars in sales. I mean, dating back always since the first of the 1900s. These are headlines by basically the people who are the grandfathers of copywriting. Some of these ads and headlines have been running for over 40 years, and accumulative, these have all made billions and billions of dollars worth of revenues for the people who use it. So that's what we're going to get into now, is the 7 headline templates that have made billions of dollars. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to break up each headline template into their own particular video. So what don't determine, or don't watch it and then decide which one of these headline templates that you want to use. What I'm going to do is bust out or break them down into each individual video. So write on the first one, go ahead and use that template and write out 3 to 5 headlines. Whether you even decide to use that headline template or not, then go on to the next headline template and write out another 3 to 5 headline templates, how we're going to show you. And then basically what you're going to want to do is write, by the end of it, have about 20 different headlines with all these different variety of styles played, and then go in and test them all. If you can do some A/B testing, or if nothing else, then you might be surprised, because after you start seeing all the different headlines on the paper, the one that you thought you might not like is probably the one you're going to choose. So without further delay, go ahead and go on to the next video.